Hello, everybody. And again, thank you for arriving today, and thanks very much to our great Disti Kliko in Hungary and in Eastern Europe in the region for organizing such a great event. So my name is Guy Alexander, and I'm the regional sales director covering Eastern Europe and the South Mediterranean region. And what I'm going to do in the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to speak about who Arista is, what's our vision, what's our strategy, what we're all about. I'll be glad to take some questions. So without further ado, let's discuss a little bit about Arista. Who are we and where we came from? So we're a relatively younger company, right? We are around 20 years in the networking industry. It may sound like a lot of time, but it's relatively a young company. We are right now, and it's important to understand a couple of things about Arista. We are the second biggest networking vendor worldwide in terms of market cap. We're talking about more than $80 billion, which is the second biggest networking company in the world. We have shipped more than 75 million ports, which is a lot. Our focus is cloud networking. Now, some might say that, cloud networking, what is it all about, right? Because it's a buzzword. And I'll explain what it means, because cloud networking means smart networking with a lot of automation, a lot of visibility. And I'll share what we're doing, okay? So our focus is cloud networking, and it doesn't matter if it's the data center networking where we evolved from, but it can be data center, campus, routing, and all of these segments for us, all of these verticals, they share the same networking principles, which I'll share. So in the data center, we have crossed the 22% market share worldwide. And when we analyze the market share when it comes to 100 gig ports and above, meaning the high-speed data centers, that's when we are the biggest vendor worldwide with more than 40% market share, which is a lot. So this is a couple of words about Arista to the people in the audience that heard about us but don't know too much. And this is the graph that shows what I just spoke about. This is by analysts the market share of high-speed data centers. Okay, and when I say high-speed data centers, I mean the port counts of 100 gigs speeds and above. And as you can see, Arista has more than 40% market share. So yes, we evolved from the data center, okay, but we're using the same principles to all of the network domains, segments, and it doesn't matter for us if it's campus, routing, virtual devices in the cloud. They all share the same principles, the same image, the same management solution, and I'll show that in a couple of minutes. So we value our customers, okay, and this is something which we really like, that when we're talking about customer feedback. There is a report by Gartner, right? Gartner are doing a couple of reports. There's the analyst reports, and there's the voice of the customer report. The voice of the customers is they're going to customers worldwide, and they're asking, what do you think about the vendor that is deployed in your network? And it means a lot to us that Arista received the highest scores from the customers, from our customers, meaning quality-wise, support-wise, vision, and this is something that we value a lot because it really what customers are saying about us. So this is the Gartner Peer Insights voice of the customers. So why do customers choose Arista? In a high-level pitch, okay? So first of all, we're talking about modern architecture. Everything is standard-based. So all of our solution you will not find any proprietary technology in our solution. It's all based on standards, which is important, highly scalable and programmable. Lots of automation, real-time telemetry and vision, because keep in mind, we evolved from the big data centers. And when I'm talking about big data centers, I'm talking about the cloud titans, the big financial organizations in the world, where they have sometimes hundreds of thousands of network devices. And you can imagine, when we're talking about, hundreds of thousands of devices, usually there's a, believe it or not, a small networking team that needs to manage so many devices. So our experience and what we're good of is to provide a software stack that sits on the devices and also a network management software where with it we're lowering operational complexity, okay, and overhead for the networking infrastructure teams that will manage the devices. Because at the end of the day, right, every customer doesn't want to be consumed on a day-by-day work of managing devices and doing changes. So our goal is to make to have customers that can do changes during the day or in a maintenance window in a fast manner. They're not scared of the implications of such a change because they know that the network is highly reliable and it's easy for them to do changes. Also, we're known for superior quality and our world-class support. So I will discuss it later in the presentation, why we believe that our support is better, because we're doing something unique in our support, in our worldwide TAC support to our customers. So let's discuss a little bit about what does it mean, cloud networking, okay, in terms of changes. So I believe that you will all agree with me that many years ago, okay, networks were connected in an anti-pattern way, right? And when networking devices are being connected in an anti-pattern way, as you can see on the left side of the presentation, if you want to deploy a new service, it's hectic. You will get some behaviors that are not expected, and this is not the way to scale a network, and it's not a way to deploy new services. Then, of course, there's a way, and Arista was a pioneer in that, of patterns way to connect a network, right? So I believe that the architecture, a spine and leaf architecture, is not something which is new to you, because it's been a while. It's a networking architecture that is being deployed for many years now. Arista was a pioneer in that. And when we're talking about patterns way to deploy a network, it's a repeatable pattern, and then it's rather more efficient and it's quicker to deploy new services, to add more devices to the network. Adding new devices to the network, they don't affect other devices in the network, right? So we're talking about a pattern way, and it lowers the amount of time to deploy services. Then we're talking about automation, an automation framework, right? And then automation languages, right? Scripts, Python scripts, or playbooks, Ansible playbooks, they come into play, right? When we're talking about automating the network. And then it's even quicker to deploy new services. Then we're talking about a cognitive network, meaning a network, and this is what we're doing now, with AI engines that can predict specific conditions, can notify the administrator. And now when we're talking about cognitive networks with AI, that's what we're doing. It's to deploy services even faster, and I'll explain a little bit about that. So this is in terms of kind of the years, how network evolves. I always like to show this this slide after the previous one, because it shows where where networks came from and where we're going, right? I believe that you will agree with me. 20 years ago, more than that, it was all about connecting the networks. Then, right, new architectures. And now it's all about creating the right intelligence in the network. Because let's face it, okay? At the end of the day, networking, right, we're creating pipes, right, with bandwidth. So it's and a network device that does 10 gig or 20 gig, 25 gig or 100 gigs or 400 gigs, there's not, our device that has for example, a 400 gig port will not do 420, right? Any device will not do more than the actual speed of the device, of the declared speed. What differentiates devices and vendors is the operating system that sits on top of the device, that can provide automation, that can provide visibility, and of course, the management software that is doing the automation and the real-time telemetry. And I'll touch that. So let's dive into some of our unique differentiators. In Arista, you see here EOS, it's not end of sale or something like that, okay? EOS is our extensible operating system. And what's unique about this operating system is that we're using the same image, software image, okay? It's not that we're saying that we have, the same CLI over our devices. I'm really talking about the same software image, and we deploy this image across all of our devices. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a 12-port campus switch that sits in a meeting room, or if it's a big chassis base with 800 gig ports that is doing the AI spine in the cloud titans. Every device in the network, every Arista device in the network has the same software image. It means the same automation. If you're doing any, if you want to use our API to do automation with scripts, the same management software. If a customer is going to use our Cloud Vision management software, it's the same. Now, usually, it doesn't happen like that. It's not like that, okay? This is something unique to Arista. And let's look at at a typical enterprise. And I believe that you will relate to that. If we're looking at a typical enterprise, so a typical enterprise will have 4 to 5 usually product classes, meaning a campus, a data center, a DMZ, a branch routing infrastructure, okay? So multiple product classes. Each of these product classes will have different software stacks, okay? And even in each domain of the network, every device, every SKU will have a different image. Now, this is what is usually happening in other vendors. Now, imagine sometimes the complexity because there's one networking team, one infrastructure team. The network infrastructure team doesn't want to have a management solution for the campus, a different management solution for the data center, because at the end of the day, it's one team, and that team wants to see a specific flow from the mobile device, for example, that is connected to an access point, that is connected to a switch, that goes to the aggregation, that goes to the leaf of the data center, through the spine to the service leaf. The network infrastructure team wants to see a single topology, a single management, a single flow. And usually with other vendors, it doesn't happen because there are images and there are software management solution for each domain. Now, in Arista, it's one image, EOS, across all of the networking domains, and one management solution, which we're very proud of. We call it cloud vision. And then the network operator can track a single flow from the actual subscriber, the actual device, to the service or to the cloud. And this is something which is very unique and simplifies the network. Now, it also provides another really important thing, which is quality. Because when we have one image, and it doesn't matter if that image is for the smaller device to the bigger device, it's consistent for us. Now, it also provides higher quality. See, please, raise your hand if you know what CVEs are. Who knows what CVE is? Right? Common vulnerability and exposure. It's not something that we publish, right? Anybody can search the web and you can track what I'm showing you now. But when you look at what Arista is doing, the fact that we have one image and it's not based on specific devices, specific feature sets, it creates really high quality. And the way that for us and for me right now to kind of prove it to you during this short presentation is to tell you, go and double check what I'm showing to you right now. Go and search for CVEs by vendor. You will see that Arista, this slide is from like a couple of months ago. Arista we had around 30 CVEs compared to hundreds in other vendors. And you can see that some vendors, and this is what I explained before, some vendors have different software trains for each type of networking equipment. And you can see it here. So I think that this is something that proves the quality, the power of one software image that I just spoke about. And we are really proud of this. So what are we doing? We're providing best-of-breed systems that are relying on merchant silicon, okay? So the actual silicon, what happened in the way that the world evolved in terms of networking equipment is that merchant silicon, in our opinion, won. Because merchant silicon, it's silicon off the shelf, is accessible for every company. And when you look at what's happening now in the world, the merchant silicon is like the first to market with higher speeds. And I mean, the cloud titans are using merchant silicon. And our expertise, okay, our bread and butter, what we know to do the best is create best-of-breed systems with merchant silicon and with a single image that we call with a very modern architecture, which I'm not going to go into during these slides, but a modern architecture, EOS, extensible operating system that sits on top. And we have a holistic approach, right? Because we have the actual networking gear. We have, on the left side, you can see here our management solution, which we call Cloud Vision. It has two flavors. It can be on-prem or in the cloud as a software as a service. So sometimes the name is confusing because when we say Cloud Vision, it's cloud-like automation for everybody, meaning some organization will deploy Cloud Vision on-prem, some will use it as a software as a service. So Cloud Vision, a single management software. The devices can also operate in a different mode, which is a packet broker mode, okay, for tap aggregation. So we also have our DMF solution. We have an identity solution, NAC, which is something that we released lately called AGNI. The story is, by the way, AGNI is it's acronym for Arista Guardian for Network Identity. But the real story is that Agni in Indian is fire. And our CEO is saying that this is the fire that will burn down ice, okay? To the people in the audience that can relate to that. We also have an NDR and network detection and response. This is a really unique solution because unlike sometimes other solutions where NDRs are appliances, we have NDR as appliances, but what we can also implement in the network is to operate the NDR as a sensor on the actual switches. And the management for the NDR can sit in the cloud. So this is the only solution where when a customer deploys us, for example, in the campus, in day 2, they can just add a subscription. They don't need to change any software image. They add a subscription, and without any additional hardware, a customer will get a network detection and response. So this is something which is very, very cool in my opinion. And also cloud EOS, because some customers are also working in the cloud. Now, GCP or Azure or AWS, each of them, the networking language in terms of networking, okay, is different. So what customers can do is deploy the same EOS, the same image, but as a virtual device in the cloud, and the same management solution called Cloud Vision, which I spoke about, will manage also that in order to have a common experience across a multi-cloud. For customers that have a hybrid solution, an on-prem data center, and also some instances in the cloud, it's common these days because what we have seen is that a lot of customers have migrated initially to the cloud, but then, and now what we see is because of the costs that a lot of customers are adopting a hybrid solution, meaning they have an on-prem and they have also some cloud instances, and they're working across this hybrid model. And the same, on the bottom of the slide, you can see that we have the same, we call it Arista A-Care, the same technical assistance center that provides support for everything. And I'll discuss a little bit about that. So, to summarize, it doesn't matter if it's in the public cloud, in the campus, in the data center, one branch routers, okay, or peering routers, one operating system, same image that sits on the devices, consistent state. All of the devices, by the way, are sending in real time all of their state to the management software. And there's one management software that sits on top, okay? So this is a really important fact to show when understanding Arista, the common framework for all of the devices. Here you can see, just as a portfolio slide, this one is for the data center. It's just the family of the devices, the series, okay? We have hundreds of SKUs, deep buffer switches, low latency switches, general compute, so many type of devices. So this is the data center portfolio, a really rich portfolio for the data center. In my region, we have, really the biggest financial organizations, retail companies, high-tech companies that have deployed it. And also the campus. So when we're talking about the campus, access points, Wi-Fi 6, 6E, soon we will release the new standard, Wi-Fi 7. Some devices that are smaller, PoE devices for meeting rooms, to the bigger chassis-based, with MACsec, without MACsec, and also a aggregation device. Now, let's speak a little bit about architecture. How are we connecting networks? And this is something, okay, that I'm saying up front. This isn't unique to Arista. Yes, we were pioneering these architectures, but what we're bringing to the industry is a very, very quality-based solution with a high highly automated and with a lot of visibility solution. So what we're doing in the data center, right, and this is the right approach, is, leafs that are, these devices are pretty much the devices that are providing the service, the connectivity into this network fabric. Spines, they have a single role, a single job in life to interconnect the leafs, okay? And in order to provide separation, okay, the separation is based on VLANs, VRFs, and then there's standard protocols to create these overlays across the network, such as BGP protocol with EVPN VXLAN extensions, okay? So this is what we're doing. It's simple, it's open, it's not proprietary, it's not a proprietary technology. And with Cloud Vision, okay, this is, and I really want to put emphasis on that. Cloud Vision, unlike our main competitor, this is not a controller, right? Because our approach is not to use controllers. Our approach is the control plane is sitting in the network with EVPN VXLAN. And the servers that are running Cloud Vision, they can be in the cloud or they can be on-prem, but these servers are just doing automation, and they're doing and providing visibility with real-time telemetry. So this is data center architecture. Now, I want to show you a campus architecture. Looking at it, it's the same. And this is something which is very important. For us, honestly, unlike the rest of the industry, for us, there is really no difference between a data center and a campus or a branch routing. Why should there be a difference? A couple of customers of ours told me, Guy, when I'm buying a leaf, it can be a campus leaf, it can be a data center leaf. Why do I need to differentiate and do and call it data center, call it campus? Because at the end of the day, it's networking. And this is our approach, okay? So you can see here that we're talking about a campus pod, okay? This is a campus pod, like the data center leaf. So in the data center, you have leaves. In the campus, each leaf is basically a campus pod, a floor. And now zooming into the floor, a floor can be a chassis-based, okay, as you can see here. A pod, can be two devices connected via MLAG, which is a standard-based protocol, or via MLAG and lags between the devices, depending on how many switches are per pod, per floor. So the same architecture of floor pods connected across leaves, the same architecture, and a lot of our customers are using also in the campus EVPN VXLAN to create these overlays. So we're talking about a consistent approach. So best-in-class networking, it doesn't matter if it's data center or campus, a single Cloud Vision, and I'll discuss soon a bit more details about Cloud Vision, and providing additional services such as network identity, our NAC solution with Agni, or Nucleus, which is our NDR solution. So this is the consistent approach that we have. Now, some of our every customer is different, obviously. Some of our customers, and we categorize our customers, and one type of customers, we call them the DIY type of customers, the do-it-yourself. And these are usually the cloud titans of the world, the Facebook, the Metas, the Azure, the GCPs, the Netflixes of the world, meaning usually they're not using our Cloud Vision, they're using our devices, okay, but they're developing their own modules on top with our SDK. All of their visibility and automation software is being created by themselves. That's why we call it the DIY. What they're getting from Arista, these type of customers, is a very consistent portfolio with performance and our operating system, so they're getting our reliable devices. Then there are the DevOps customers. These type of customers, they're using one of the automation, Ansible, Chef, Puppet. They're writing Python scripts, and these type of customers, we call them the DevOps customers because they also have some programming skills. And for these type of customers, we are releasing all the time many playbooks to create a campus or a data center spine, leaf, a fabric in an automated way. We call it AVD, Arista Validated Design. It's a lot of playbooks, and these type of customers can obviously create also their own customizations. And a lot of enterprise customers, we call them the turnkey NetOps, meaning these type of customers, the turnkey NetOps, they want to have the same automation level as the DevOps type of customers and also as I would say the Cloud Titans, the DIY type of customers, but they don't have all of the software engineer skills to create these type of automation and visibility solutions. So for these type of customers, we have created Cloud Vision, our flagship automation and visibility software. Meaning a customer can deploy Cloud Vision and get the same level of automation really in a quick manner. So let's speak about Cloud Vision. What does Cloud Vision do? So Cloud Vision, first of all, it does automated deployments, zero-touch provisioning, zero-touch RMA. All of our customers, before even receiving the devices, before we even ship the devices, can deploy Cloud Vision, can create all of the configs of the network, and then once the devices arrived, it's zero touch. They turn them on, devices are getting IP addresses from Cloud Vision, the operator sees them registering in Cloud Vision, and then just drags them to the location of the network where all of the configuration resides, and then all of the configuration are being pushed from Cloud Vision to the devices. So zero-touch provisioning or zero-touch RMA. After the network is running, suddenly a device goes down and you need to replace it. Fine. We ship a new device to you. You turn it on, and then it receives all of the configuration of the device that it replaced. Change control. I said from the beginning of this presentation that our goal is to reduce, really our mission is to reduce the operational overhead and complexity for every network infrastructure team. And network infrastructure teams, they need to do change control. They need to sometimes upgrade to new images because there's a CVE, for example, or they want a new feature, and because of that, a new software image needs to be deployed. So all of the change control tasks can be done in Cloud Vision it's a unique way, because you can really create like this chain of the change control. Meaning, start with this switch. After you upgrade this switch, perform these type of tests. Only if these type of tests are passing, then continue. We have customers that have upgraded or did changes to networks of hundreds of devices in a really short period of time in an automated way, where the administrator just sat and watch Cloud Vision how it's doing all of the automation tasks and all of the tests how they're being performed. Compliance and risk analysis. If a customer is vulnerable for a CVE or a bug, so the system can analyze and provide a report which device needs to be upgraded or which device is vulnerable for a bug, for example, and then a task can be performed based on that. Another important aspect is real-time telemetry. I'm sure that you all know what SNMP is, okay? SNMP is good, but SNMP, it's a polling method, right? It's a method that was developed in the 1990s. So some customers are polling the devices with SNMP every minute, every 5 minutes. But then what happens between the polling? There's an unknown state between polling. And even if you configure the network for traps, for SNMP traps, a SNMP trap will only be initiated when a specific threshold has been reached. So our devices, you can poll them with SNMP, okay, right? Because it's a standard protocol. But all of our devices are opening a real-time channel, TCP channel. It's not a lot of bandwidth. It's around between 100 to 300 kbps, constantly on between every device and CloudVision. All of a summary of the flows that are traversing the device are there. Not the actual packet, right? Because we're talking about a sample of the traffic, but the actual summary of flows, the state of the device, everything that an operator wants to see, because with this information, the operator doesn't need to do any show commands on the actual device. So real-time telemetry, it's really important. And on that, we have a lot of AI machine learning engines to predict, and I'll show you a screen soon, to predict how, if there's an issue in the network, or there will be an issue in the network, but right now you still are not experiencing anything, so we can predict things based on the real-time telemetry information. And last thing is the security services segmentation solution. We call it MSSG, macro segmentation. All of this is being done with the help of our CloudVision automation and software. So, by the way, I just chose to put one screen from CloudVision. Apologize if it's too many details and it's small, but I'll try to summarize what you see here. So first of all, you see a time bar on the left. Oh, sorry, on the lower part of the screen, meaning you can see this. For every screen, you can see the state in live, or you can go back in time. The system, I think, can save something like 2 or 3 months backwards. So you have always a time bar, and here what you see is predictive events, meaning based on historical behavior, something has changed, for example, in the network, and we believe that there's an issue. Before actually the users are complaining. So before the users are complaining, CloudVision, because CloudVision has all of the network state, can analyze and has AI engines to predict that something is going wrong and the network is going into a state where something needs to be done by the administrator before users have even started to complain. This is something that we can achieve, and we're always improving in that, always adding. Every CloudVision release is, sometimes it's not even things that are shown in the GUI. Sometimes the release, CloudVision releases have so many new AI engines behind the hood to provide more insights. So this is something that kind of shows it. Another example is, for example, right now, all of the hardware capacity of the device isn't full, but the system can predict. Route tables are filling up, MAC tables are filling up. The bandwidth of the links is increasing. Soon, in a month, in 2 weeks, the network will be consumed. These type of things we can predict. Zero-touch operation. I just wanted you to see some screens, the campus dashboard, onboarding and provisioning for new devices, how we are showing a virtual stack. So this thing is really cool because usually even things that are not supposed to be sophisticated, right? When you're connecting a stack, okay, in a campus, the way that we're doing it is different because usually with other vendors, I'm sure that when you're taking a couple of campus switches, you're connecting them with a stack ring, right? But what's traversing over this stack ring is proprietary. It's not something that you can troubleshoot, right? And if you're taking a device out, bringing this device in, it creates this type of jumps in the network. There's a primary, there's a standby. We're doing it differently. Every device has its own control plane. We're connecting, even in the campus, the devices via MLAG, via link aggregation. But then in cloud vision, we want still the operator to see it as one, although different control planes. Then we're assigning all of these devices in a floor, for example, to a single virtual stack without this ring protocol. It's the connections as MLAG and LAG, but Cloud Vision will show this to the operator as a virtual stack in order to just provide the same look and feel without sacrificing the reliability. And we believe that regular stacks doesn't have consistency and can provide some operational challenges if things go wrong. Agni, our identity software that has a connector as part of the Cloud Vision suite, can import all of the devices from Cloud Vision, can write to Cloud Vision, so can do a lot of magic there. Another thing that we're doing is our monitoring fabric. So what I've shown you until now is the campus, is the data center, but what if you want to mirror the actual traffic and analyze it, okay? So, because Cloud Vision will work on S-Flow, will show you samples, but if you want to to see the behavior of the network based on the packets themselves. So via port mirroring or taps or passive taps, you can send the actual traffic to also the same Arista switches that can work in a different mode of a packet broker, of a tap aggregation. And we call this the dance monitoring fabric. And traffic can be sent from networking ports to tool ports, okay? And this is where our NDR can provide, that's where we can send traffic to our NDR. And our NDR, the components of the NDR is the sensors and a nucleus engine, that's how we call it. It's the management of all the sensors where we are providing insights, cybersecurity insights of what's happening in the network. And some of the sensors can be hardware appliance type of sensors, but we also have a unique feature where our switches, for example, our campus switch, the Arista 720XP campus switch, can have the sensor on top. And this is unique in the industry. So until now, I kind of covered what's our strategy, how we see networks, what differentiates us. And now I want to speak about our support model. Because still, every network needs great support. Things can go wrong, okay? And what we are very proud of is that obviously our follow the sun around the world support organization is unique because all of our support engineers are Arista employees. All of them, we don't have TAC tiers, okay? I'm sure you know that some vendors have like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then when a customer opens a case, sometimes The customer reaches like first level of support, and then the customer sometimes gets aggravated because they're speaking with somebody, they feel that they're not professional enough, and they ask that engineer, can you please escalate me? So in Arista, in order to prevent that type of situation, all the network engineers in the TAC are escalation level engineers. Yes, it has more cost on us, we know that, but all of the engineers are escalation level engineers, like tier 3 engineers that have also direct access to the engineering. Because of that, you can see here the score that our TAC has received. So Tech Validate, by the way, Tech Validate, it's an organization that categorizes technical assistance center, not only in the IT industry, across all industries. Now, any score below 0 is considered bad, okay? So I'm saying this because it doesn't start from 0. It starts even from minus. So every score below 0 is considered bad. Every score above 0 is considered good. Arista received 9.3 out of 10. This is world class. It's unheard of in the industry. I don't know the scores of our competition. This is something where you can look at this organization website, but this is something which we're really proud of. And this is some statistics. I asked from our support organization a while ago to send me a slide that kind of shows what do the service that customers get. Obviously, it's statistical data, I know, but this is an example of a customer that has 100 devices, an install base of 100 devices. So you can see that total service requests was 6 in a year. Hardware RMAs were 1.5. Software defect was less than 1, was 0.6. And general questions were 4. This is something that really shows the quality, the experience that our customers receive. And I know that also in Hungary we have, last time I checked, we have, the biggest bank in Hungary is using Arista. We also have some customers in the media and entertainment segment. So all of these customers, especially also here in Hungary, I believe are experiencing this type of quality from us. And it's 24/7. We also have a local depot of equipment here in Budapest that we can provide next business day and 4 hours RMA replacements in the country. Thank you for being so patient and sharing and hearing my presentation. If there are questions, I'll be glad to answer. Me and also my colleague Marcin are here. We have a booth, and we will be really glad to answer any question that you might have. Thank you very much, and enjoy the day.